Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Masters land, and it is time to get into some more hot Paladins action. We made you wait enough today. It's time to get back into it as soon as possible. And we've got a new guest, which is pretty exciting for us. He just played a star of Abyss, formerly Abyss, now Kanga Esports. Josh Kent, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, man.
Yeah?
Bit tired.
Bit tired. You've been playing a lot. You've been waiting a lot.
Yeah, we've practiced a fair bit, so we're used to like the long days, playing a lot of games, so we'll wait out, relax, watch this next set, and go back against whoever wins, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day for you guys because, again, you got to play right after this. A lot of tactical awareness is going to be coming through for both of you and your squad. Of course, I got Hi-Rez Vox here with me, man. How did I not start off with you? Vox, you're here across the pond. I haven't seen you today.
Look, I understand that the Australian is more important than me, but I do actually have a question for you real quick. How do I pronounce your team name? Sorry, I've been getting a little bit of grief for that, apparently.
Kanga. Kanga Esports, like a kangaroo.
Not Kanga.
Not Kanga.
Not Kanga.
Not Kanga.
There we go. There it is.
Definitely not Kanga.
Alrighty.
All right,
good
not
to know.
that. You guys, nobody jumped in. We were all supposed to do that at the same time, guys. You didn't read the script. Hot damn.
Two left feet.
So, Josh, you just came off of I don't know if it's a devastating loss for you guys, but it was a very close-knit set. And I know that probably going into this, you expect the D69 to be one of, if not the toughest competitor to face. That was kind of the largest task for you guys to handle. You showed some cards there, showing that they didn't really like the Frozen Guard. They didn't like the Timber Mill. You brought that out. Everyone has not been playing that. You guys seem really confident on those maps.
Yeah, well, there's all 8 maps in the pool except for the one ban, so what's the point in if you don't play like 3 maps? It's ridiculous. So if you're bad on the maps that people hate to play, then we're just going to play the ones you hate to play and be good on them.
Yep. Hey, and that seemed to work largely really well for you. I mean, Vox, you saw the game, you're able to kind of watch and analyze, in terms of their response to what D69 was able to put. It just didn't seem like they had any problems responding just as well.
Yeah, it was interesting. A lot of, especially the Timber Mill games, seemed to come down to the drafting as well with champions. It was a case of, well, we know we're going to be fighting up against the Kinesso, let's draft triple flank to deal with it, and then you go, okay, well, deployable Nightmare, Ruckus on the objective. What do? You can't win both. You can't have your cake and eat it. You've got to draft against one or the other, or hope that maybe your one Eevee is enough to deal with a Kinesso, and in that kind of situation, it was just a little bit too split.
Well, yeah, that was a very interesting game. Maybe we'll get your thoughts on that in a second. But coming up here, you're going to talk to us now about the last up, about what's coming, and that is Cube Team versus Eager. You have the opportunity, obviously, to be able to play one of these teams and, share your thoughts on your previous experience and going into this match. Who do you think has the advantage and why?
I think Eager has the advantage pretty clearly. I mean, they have a lot of good teams in North America to verse and practice against constantly in Cube. They can play on NA servers, I guess, but they're always at a disadvantage, and I'm pretty sure they had some visa issues, so they're not at their strongest.
Now, have you seen Ruukia play, man?
Yeah, I saw him on Charlene.
Have you seen that? Him? It's a girl.
Her on Charlene?
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Oh, I saw the girl play, but I wasn't sure what her alias was, so...
It's not the girl. It's Ruukia, Josh.
Ruukia.
It's
the
Ruukia,
Charlene.
okay? And it's pretty exciting, cool, because we haven't seen a lot of other girls in Paladins esports. It's something I want to bring up. I think it's something that everyone is excited to see more women stepping into the esports role. It just hasn't been a scene that they've jumped into a lot here, especially in Paladins, a new game. So it's pretty exciting stuff. And they showed some moments, Vox, of being
absolutely.
effective.
I mean, it was something which District 69 in the Cube games on Serpent Beach specifically had to target, going so far as to solo Dragon Punch a Charlene, because it's the most effective way to deal with a single player. If that doesn't show specific focus, then I don't know what does.
So, Eager, you mentioned that they have the advantage here. How much do you think it lies in just their team composition? How much do you think it lies in sometimes what maybe overshadows Eager's name is the star power of stolzey?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got the stars, but I don't think it matters at the end of the day. It's still a 5v5. It's not like a 1v5 at all. Doesn't matter if he goes absolutely crazy, if he can't kill everyone. They're not playing as a team. Then
some of the casual games I played, it felt like 1v9. My goodness, but you're right. On a competitive setting, everybody matters there. It's the interaction between the teams team that's key. And Eager, they've had some time to build up cohesion between their players now. That's going to really help come into effect. And Cube, do you think they have the same degree of coordination there?
Compared to like the top other teams in the tournament, I don't think their coordination is just as good. But compared to Cube team, I think it's probably going to be just a little bit better.
Going into this as well, you said the NA teams are kind of afraid maybe to play a couple of these. There's Ruukia holding up RDZN. She could hold up whatever she wants. People are going to, go crazy in chat. It doesn't really matter there. Got the glasses, got the tat. She's ready to play. maybe coming from the 6. Is she holding up the keyboard now? Hot dang. Okay, take it easy. I don't know how many promos she's going to do. We're not ready for this. We got our own that we're talking about. But most importantly, Josh, just, breaking this down, we see Frog Isle as that first map. That's a safe map for people to jump on. Pretty standard stuff. Everybody knows how to work on that.
Yeah, definitely. It's very well played. I mean, Eager beat us on Frog Isle. I'm not sure whose pick it was, but they seemed very, very strong.
How do you feel about the Tyro, which they brought up? It actually was more effective than some of the other picks that they had.
Yeah, I guess like in stats-wise, it was pretty effective. I mean, we haven't played against Tyro, I don't think, ever. So we sort of adjusted and sort of worked it out a bit, and now we'd be prepared for it. But I think stat-wise, it can inflate, if you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah. It's sometimes too much damage, seeming like not really that's the effective damage of what she's doing in the actual match.
Yeah, you have to look at like solo kills and whole kills, because a lot of her damage can just get soaked up and healed. So.
Yeah.
Exactly, and now we do head through to the champion draft. It is Cube Team with first pick here so far versus Team Eager. Once again, the map will be Frog Isle. We've seen Bomb King be the primary opener for every single game so far. I don't expect that to change. It's really how the response comes through from Team Eager, which I'm going to be interested in. First pick Bomb King has been selected.
Yep.
Eager, we've seen so much Makoa. We've seen a lot of Drogos prioritized, but Eager are the ones to pull out the wild cards here, and I'm curious as to what that might be.
It's going to be an interesting decision, too, because, really the question is probably not going to be which team gets Bomb King. It's going to be which team can deal with Bomb King the best. Because, this is going to be just a part of this tournament. Bomb King is in a great spot. People are going to pick him up. He provides so much to the team and counters a lot of things and is hard to counter. But if you are going to counter him, a lot of people have been bringing up the Makoa Shaolin as the option.
Yeah, I guess like it sort of stops him jumping in and having free reign. The Makoa can hook him and Shaolin can stun. And Shaolin just does a whole bunch of damage, so... And even Makoa, like the half shell or whatever it's called, that legendary, Bomb King likes destroying shields, so if you have that, you can just run Kronos maybe, and then you have like constant shields always up.
Infinite shield. It helps the team. It helps things going. Cube, following trend here of the Bomb King. As far as your team, I don't want you to give away any strats, man. And we don't want you to put yourself in a bad position, but is this the answer that you guys see for Bomb King, knowing that it's out on the table? Everybody's got to figure out a way to deal with it. Is there something else that people aren't really picking up that you at Abyss feel that, or excuse me, Kanga feel that is the answer?
I don't want to give away what we think, but it looked like when we played Frozen Guard against Eager, they picked up the Pip, I think, to sort of deal with the Bomb King, because slows on Bomb King kind of ruin him sometimes.
Yeah.
And we've seen that utilized quite a little bit in competitive play recently with a last pick Pip coming through, because that devastating potential of Explosive Flask, whether running Catalyst or whether running Mega Potion or whatever you want to run with them, just the slow potential on flankers really helps shut them down. The draft is back up and available though, folks. We've got Grok and Barak locked in for Cube Team. Next, they're getting some deployables, some frontline online. Team Eager could counter here with some big area damage, which they are currently very much lacking in.
Yeah, you see, actually the Maldama Torvald selected, so Eager not really worrying about that. And, we see now Cube Team with the opportunity to bounce back here and follow up this draft. Largely, when you look at some of the teams from other regions coming through, maybe not having as much LAN experience, not having as much competition in their specific regions, the draft, is that a place where you see them sometimes fall short, make some weird decisions?
I don't know, I think draft is something that you can easily learn just by watching top teams or like theory crafting with your own team. It's more like the things that Cube Team will be lacking is in-game decision making, and if it gets down to a 3-3, they might just falter because they haven't really experienced it before against a good team. So I think that's where they're lacking the most.
So to a degree, we can learn that on-paper chess game through observation and through rote learning and through theory crafting, but it's the execution of these combinations, which may be very niche and very specific to individual teams and players' playstyles. Cube Team then, speaking of niche, on Frog Isle, maybe not so much anymore. Grover is locked in, as well as Buck, making sure that Deep Roots isn't available to Team Eager, unlikely to be taken anyway. They're going to round up their draft with Victor.
Not too bad, huh? I mean, Victor obviously does well from range. We saw Joel's play lights out with that on Frozen Guard and just annihilate, D69 there. And so Bitey, he's been a big fan of Victor for a long time. He's a proponent of the champion. Stolzey most likely will be playing that here in this lineup, but the double tank, something we haven't seen in a while. Josh, looking at these last lineups before you go, what do you give the edge to?
On the draft, like on paper, I think Cube Team has the edge. They've got a lot of good ways to deal with everything that Eager has to throw, but I mean, there's always the Torvald that can just team wipe everyone, so I'm going to probably have to give the win to Eager overall, even though they probably have the inferior draft.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Josh. That's Josh Kent from Kanga, formerly Abyss, and he will be playing the winner, his team, of this game. So he's going to go back and watch and get his theory craft on, while Vox and I get our casting on, man. It feels good. It hasn't been, it's been a while since we've been able to hang out in person.
Since I last saw you?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so I'm getting ready for a ton of puns, for our cast. I'm getting ready for a lot of cheesy Grover lines, especially because Grover's getting played here.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm just getting ready for some hype, because that's what we do.
That's what we do. We're going to bring the noise, we're going to bring the volume, the players are going to bring the hot plays, and I'm excited to be able to really express my just passion for the game with what they're going to be bringing to the table. And I love Cube Team's draft so far here. We've got Eager with a bit of line of sight lock-off with Charlene and Victor.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing Bomb King, I'm seeing Grover in here as well, who are just going to be spamming the entryways maybe with their axes, with their bombs, and really shutting down the entry for Team Eager to try and hold that line of sight. The only champion that I don't feel really fits on Cube Team's draft here, honestly, is Buck, and it feels like that's been picked up as a direct response to Victor because of Victor's low mobility, but it does concern me when there's a Torvald and Makoa on the table.
To me, I think a lot of these teams, they do go for the flankers in that last part of the draft when they don't have last pick, so that they can kind of make sure, especially no Kinessa comes through, or, unless you're playing Kenga, who just will pick a Kinessa in the face of an Eevee and a Buck. Hopefully, it's intended to kind of ward them away, because those flankers, they naturally counter that stationary sniper.
They certainly do. And then breaking things down with Cube on the left-hand side, we have Nada on Barrack with Fortifiers, our legendary Skullest on Bomb King with Accelerant. It's going to be Ruukia on Maelstrom, Grok, GTF on Bounce House, Buck, and Pingss on Grover with Deep Roots.
Bitey on the right-hand side. It seems like a little bit of a pause coming through. It might be able to still see the legendaries, even though that is paused, but if not, we'll have to catch up with what Eager are running in just a moment.
If it's not field study, I will eat my tie.
I'm sure
if it's not field study, I'll shave my head.
If you'll shave your head?
Yeah,
Oh,
maybe.
I hope it's not field study then.
Oh, my goodness.
That'll be pretty exciting.
Yeah, what if it was direct current?
Yo, you said you'll eat your Tide?
Yeah, eat my tie.
Oh, your tie?
Yeah, my tie.
I was like, did you have some laundry detergent up in here? I feel like that's dangerous, Vox.
Nah, dude, it's the players that are cleaning house right now, but we do have the scoreboard up in front of us right now. It is field study. Well, it looks like that this gets to stay around my neck for a little while longer, but, well, we'll see about the rest of it.
I wonder if we could still get your hair cut for some reason.
We'll have to find out.
Let's see if that'll happen here. Bitey with field study, protection for Torvald. Spirits Chosen for Awry. Recur for Shaolin here on ShadeeyShades. Half Shell for Wi-Fi on Makoa, and stolzey. Firefight. He's going to be going in trying to do the damage there, and there's largely just a lot of action happening on the screen. Skullest with two! GTFA gets one! Skullest with a triple kill for Cube!
The setup was there. The Grumpy Bomb went out. Grover had already dealt some damage, and I love the Grover initial positioning, just locking off an angle, and then repositioning straight across to where the barrack was already low, popping a Blossom behind the barricade to make sure they're back at full health. And meanwhile, Skullest is just going crazy because everybody's so focused on that low health barrack. There's a Grumpy Bomb behind me. I didn't notice.
I didn't notice, and it's stunning me, and that's the value of Bomb King. It's not the fact that he has so much damage, he's got mobility, he's got decent health. It's that he's got everything, because then you add a CC stun, you add a CC ultimate, you add already a ton of damage to both of those ults and in his left mouse button as well, and you talk about pinpoint accurate detonation depending on the level of efficacy as due to the level of good player that is playing him. He's just really, really hard to beat right now.
I know we talked a little bit about cross-region play before and how Cube Team, they might be able to scrim, but I mean, even if they are scrimming North American teams, some maybe higher caliber teams than what they're able to face in the region because they had a pretty good qualifying path through their own region, then the ping is going to come into account. But Bomb King with their recent buffs with client-side projectile registration rather than the server side, you can actually play him on ping now very effectively. So all of a sudden, Skullest is going to be able to get practice in with Bomb King, this top-tier champion, and feel like they're right at home with them. They'll have a little bit of ping interaction still with movement, but much less so on their weapons, so they can really get that timing down.
And we are here on the point after the full team wipe. Skullest with a triple kill. And look at this zone from Cube. They are on a mission here. 30% on the objective thus far. And Eager trying to get back without being dismounted, but that is a tall task.
Note though that the totem went down before Eager were even out of base in that fight, which means it's not off cooldown now to try and heal up Buck, who is about to go down as Wi-Fi gets the Dredge Anchor CC. It might not be enough to actually actually win back the objective here? We'll have to find that out in just a second as Skullest takes down ShadeeyShades, but Victor protection bubble hustles in, puts it into overtime, but not quite enough there. It's going to be very tricky for Team Eager to try and take this one back.
Ruukia here on the Grok, looking to get some kills and frag out Shock Pulse. Not going to use it quite yet, going to miss that actually. Pinpoint onto the Torvald, but the Lightning Beam will be an easy find, and she's actually going to immune the stun coming out from Awry. And that is an objective captured on Eager by Cube Team, the Brazilian team here, taking it to North America to start out.
And all throughout the rest of that fight, Skullest was just in the back line, going from place to place with their Poppy Bomb and just fragging out. We do have another pause coming through from Team Eager once again. The teams are allowed multiple pauses since they are in a LAN environment. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes, but that doesn't deny the fact that Cube Team came out so strong in that first fight, and then the follow-up. But little mistakes here and there in their zoning.
Yeah, you know, and what I love, though, is the intention. It's the aggression that they showed. They were willing to be aggressive towards a team that, you know, a lot consider a better caliber team and a more experienced team.
Yeah, that's definitely going to put them on the front foot rather than the back foot. If they play defensively, then they let Eager come at them with everything they've got. They've got to kind of meet them head-to-head and maybe exceed that to be able to just keep on getting the upper hand in these fights. And if they keep up the momentum now, we've seen so many 4-0s on Frog Isle, as you've remarked beforehand, we could very easily see this snowball out of control.
It could be a bad move, but it just seems like, you know, when I look at GTF here, he seems like a guy who's focused. I can't tell if he's maybe a little, you know, grouchy, or, you know, I look at him down the hallway.
Oh,
and
man, that's just game face. That's focus.
It might be game face. I'm just taking it personally a little bit here, but I know that I can't. This guy wants to win, and I think that's part of the conviction you're seeing in-game here. That consistency, that willingness to push and to stare a juggernaut, essentially.
Was it conviction on old Buck card?
It might have been.
Yeah, it makes sense if you play Buck.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You are just... This is it. You're starting.
Paladins Encyclopedia.
I love it, man. Well, then tell me, Vox, what's going on with Eager right now?
Eager's team composition, it's a little bit peculiar. They had some interesting strats in there. I do love the fact that they pulled out the let's hustle Victor onto the objective with protection just to take it into overtime because they have Torvald who can't get there fast enough, very slow, and Makoa who, if they're dismounted early enough, they're still relatively slow, and using Shell Spin is going to put them in a bad spot. They just didn't seem to really know how to approach, I think, the Bomb King and the Grover in that situation. They didn't respond as they needed to, and as a result, they got taken a bit by surprise. As to whether that continues to happen, we did see on the zoning they managed to pick up Buck. Good Dredgenka's coming through from Wi-Fi again. But that initial surprise factor was enough to throw them a bit for a loop. I mean, nobody really expects the Grover.
Yeah. You know, for me, too, it's like I look at this map and you say, why do we have 4 O's and why do we have, you know, all this kind of momentum being able to be used? I think this is a great map for Cube to be able to play on because if you're going to get a win, you want to win big and you want to win fast on Eager. You don't want to give them any chances to put together their overall more experience and their more potential, you know, player skill here as they've been in the scene for a little bit longer the test.
Well, let's talk maybe a little bit about mid-match adaptation as well, or mid-set adaptation. The more, the longer that these games go on between Cubed and Eager, the more the Eager are going to figure out how these teams play. You know, we saw that at HRX with Burrito Esports at the time. They'd maybe lose a couple of points early on in games, then they'd figure out their opponents and they'd just counter them completely. If Eager has the potential to do that, Cube don't want to give them the opportunity in the window to do so, and so winning fast, going home big very, very early on means that Eager go, well, we got no information out of that game. We're still going in relatively blind.
Yeah, and this, you know, we remarked a great map to do it, partly because you can zone when they come out of their base so safely. Other maps, when you do try to zone, you may be close, but you have to go through an open space where you could be exposed if the enemy team is able to collapse onto you. Right now, you know, Bomb King, other champions can just shoot and just duck undercover and have full access and field of view of where you're coming.
And despite the fact that the map format is different, it feels like that's a little bit similar on some of the other maps that we've seen Kanga Esports so far really go for, in the fact that they've gone for Ice Mines, they've gone for Timber Mill, and they've gone for Frozen Guard, where the zoning can come in so massively because you have a direct line of sight to base often from the objective, where you can run a little bit around a corner, dismount so early on, and that's really starting to come into play here as well on Frog Isle. But again, you just got to be careful with your overextension. You can't afford it in that situation.
You know, all these players here have some different way of touching their face when the camera goes on. You know what that means, Vox?
What does that mean?
You gotta go to the bathroom.
Really?
Yep. Every player who touches their face during these player cams, they're just secretly signing that they gotta go.
My goodness, the things you learn
That's
about
what
all
I
these
heard,
players.
man. That's what I heard.
Okay, so what does it mean if you're touching your nose?
Oh, you don't want to know about that one.
Oh my goodness.
That's not rated teen right there.
Oh,
that's
wow.
unfortunate. But you know what? These guys, they're. I got Vox. My whole goal
killing
is
me here,
I'm
man.
just trying to make Vox laugh, man.
You finally got it. You got a giggle, man. Are you happy about it?
I'm trying to make everybody laugh here. You
Oh,
know,
we have fun.
And I think largely people, can listen to us talk about, why Frog Isle is this and that. But to me, I'm sometimes more interested in the player profiles. The Wi-Fi there with a nice little just gun fire at us, but Wi-Fi. Let's take a look at him. Wi-Fi, a younger member of Eager. He's actually playing in the AVGL finals later this weekend, which is going to be on Sunday. Go Davenport, which is what everybody's been saying here.
Ooh, that sounds like caster bias.
It's not caster bias.
That's dangerous to
Vox,
get into.
It's a quote. I said go Davenport, like everybody's been saying
I didn't see you using
here.
quotation fingers.
You're right. I didn't, but no one saw me using quotation fingers.
That's true. The camera is on Wi-Fi.
This guy's a younger member of the team. He has stepped up big time in the set that he was playing. He was showing up with the hooks from Makoa. He was playing, I think, above and beyond his years here and showing a lot of not necessarily ownership, but leadership for this team, even as a younger member.
If you're playing a frontliner like that, you've got to be able to take control of the situation to a degree. Now, we see a lot of teams have multiple shot callers, and we have some teams have like a primary shot caller, and everybody else generally follows what they're going for. I think in this kind of situation, if your primary shot caller isn't your frontliner, isn't a playmaker or a setup player like a Makoa player, then you've got to have that flex between them. We know that Bitey really orchestrates a lot of what goes on within the teams, but if Wi-Fi makes a call and they say, I'm going to pull this person, the rest of the team goes, I trust you, and they follow up, and that's exactly the kind of communication and trust we need in one of their more junior members.
They're doing a good job here of keeping their game faces on and staring at the screen, ready to go at a moment's notice when things get resolved. And the Cube team have been waiting all day for this at this point. Kanga, they're going to have to wait to play the winner of this, but Eager, they've waited a little bit less, it feels like, and Cube, they're just ready to go. They come out with a 4-0, full deicide essentially on the Bomb King. They've got to be feeling good, and I'm hopeful they can continue this momentum.
You talk about deicide there, and that's very much a Smite thing, isn't it? You come from
Sure
Smite, you got a
is.
Smite background. I do too with Hi-Rez games. How I discovered Hi-Rez. I think we've gone over this before, but do we have a word for a full champion team wipe?
Gosh, would it be different than a deicide?
I wonder, because some of these players do look a little bit like gods, and their performance in game reflects that.
You're right.
That's very true.
I can't tell you how many times I get called out. Not so much anymore, but I used to get called out a lot for saying God or champion, the right one. And you know what? We're just receiving the information, due to technical issues, we did have to remake this game. And that largely is going to, put both these teams at, again, without the momentum that either one had either lost or gained, and really set it up to say, hey, Cube, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to do it for real. Can't be a fluke.
And we should be heading back in the game in just a second, folks. So, Cubed, they may try the same approach. They may try something completely different here, but regardless, that Grover lock-off early is going to matter. Once again, the picks are exactly the same. The map is still Frog Isle, but will Team Eager find the entry frag set up off the back of Wi-Fi this time, or will Cube Team find the initial damage? Itemization coming through, Cauterize and Wrecker splits, but a lot of Chronos for Team Eager. They like their cooldowns being low. They want to get their abilities off as often as possible.
And Makoa here with Wi-Fi looking to do things differently. They've had a redo. Will things change? And already Barrack under fire. Bomb King looking to make it happen. And you see there the deep roots coming through from Pingss. He's doing a great job of setting up the damage. And largely things are going again in the way of, you see, the Brazilians, but not anymore. Skullest and Ruukia only finding kills. Skullest again with a double kill. Is he going to get a triple kill yet again? No, Awry will find the kill onto him and shut him down.
And Awry actually picking up 2 kills in that previous engagement. Team Eagle, although they're on the back foot, have been really relying on the support to not just set up kills for them with their reload from their Serpent weapon, but also keep their team alive. It's a lot of pressure on Awry's shoulders right now, and his Cube team rise upwards of 80% yet again on the objective, and everybody is poked out low. ShadeeyShades picks up a double, but will they get back to the objective? Wi-Fi seems stalled out. He was rooted in place. Bomb King is still fragging out. Down goes Makoa. This is still Cube team's point to lose, despite the retake coming through.
Skullest Skullest is very, very smart here. He's going to back off, throw the Grumpy Bomb, buy some time. That's what I love. And Ruukia here just taking the one-on-one. She's not afraid to frag. Ruukia takes down Awry, veteran here in the North American scene. Ruukia's going for 2. Oh, man, and that's going to be GTFA coming, getting her back, fam. And Bitey will go down as well. Ruukia is still on the point 8 streak for the Grok, and GTFA is hunting down the victor. He doesn't see it. He won't have a chance to.
And that was so key there. Barrage came through, and being able to have a Buck with a distracted Victor, I mean, that's just hunting season right there for Buck. The shotgun comes out big, and again, Cube team 1-0 so far. 2 minutes and 32 seconds on the clock in this game. Torvald's already lost their personal shields. Look at the zoning coming through. Look at the momentum.
Oh, what a nice half shell. That was a little greedy there by GTFA. You know, you're not going to get the kill, especially with the gourd coming down. He really wanted it, though, but you just got to respect a good half shield. That's one of the threats. It's so safe for the defending team who has it, and it's so dangerous for the offender. It's really a risky gamble to go into that, but a lot of damage coming through. Fox, the biggest story point for me here, though, is Cube team have not won this point once against Eager. They've now won it twice.
They have done it exactly the same, even with Team Eager having a little bit of maybe understanding of exactly how it's going to go. They took it again, but the shutdown there coming through from Bitey. In comes the Dreadjanker, and you're silenced, so you can't go into Ghost Walk. The kill confirmation is there. Wi-Fi picks up 2 kills, activates Ancient Rage, and is looking for blood. Awry takes out GTF, and Pingss may be able to stay alive, but no. Chooses not to use the Whirlwind.
Wi-Fi with a great hook, though. I mean, that's just Wi-Fi again, stepping up, making the big play, stabilizing for his team, and then just having the awareness and the accuracy to, even when it seems like Grover's out of dodge, pull him right back in and punish him for not being there.
You pull yourself over that with a fine. Nah, friend, you're coming straight back in again, but straight back to base is going to be GTF, and GTF keeps on seeming to jump into these stacks very, very frequently, jumping into 4 or more players sitting there, and that's going to leave a very big deficit at the team if they lose their flanker again and again. Cube team have got to go in as a group. They've got to allow their Buck the chance to pick off individual targets and make sure that they don't go in straight into a Dreadjanker or straight to a champion who has that protection bubble around them. But still, the pressure continues.
Wow, that's a very big value barrage. You can at least get 2,400 off of that. Stolzey's going to have to back away, though. GTFA still going strong. In the backside, there's a lot of noise coming out from Cube team, and they're feeling excited about their performance here. It's 2-0.
The deep roots coming out of Grover locks down Makoa, and instead of just detonating, Skullest just sets a trap, blows him up. That's the lockdown which we saw coming through, and now look at Wi-Fi's itemization response straight into Resilience 2. They recognize how deadly that is. Doesn't want to be caught out by it again, but Cube team counter itemization coming through. Cauterize 2 online for Nada, on for GTF as well. 60% damage reduction for 1.5 seconds following their weapon shots. Wrecker 2 for Ruukia and Skullest, and it's interesting to see that on a Grok actually, but since they're primarily up in the face of Makoa, it does make a lot of sense. And then just the cooldown reduction across the board for both of these teams. They love this Chronos item.
It's really important that they're able to get it. Awry having Chronos 2, the only one right now in the game except Pingss to have it. Ruukia going in for the Wrecker 2, which is an interesting choice by Grok. We usually see the Cauterize because he can apply it so freely, but now Wi-Fi and Bitey, they're already on the point. Pingss actually misses the deep roots, but here's a Whirlwind, nice early, and it's going to do a lot of work and give ShadeeyShades the opportunity to actually pick off those teammates who thought they were safe. And Grover will fall. Ruukia will find the only kill there for them, and Wi-Fi will pick up 2, and now Eager are on the move.
I'm a little bit confused about the initiation from Cube team there because they engage with Tempest. You've got that increase to movement speed. You've got the healing already. Then stacking a Whirlwind on top of that. I mean, Team Eager doesn't have all that much Cauterize on them. It seems like a little bit of a misplay there potentially. In jumps Buck though, buying time, contesting. Dreadjanker comes through, but Buck gets to safety. And now the double kill, and one detonation comes through from Skullest, going huge. Retake potential from Cube is here.
He stays alive, and that is a problem. Grumpy Bomb stay in the fight. All that damage stays in the fight. And if he gets healed up right now, it is going to be a bad news bear situation for Team Eager. They've got and let this Bomb King, after using most of their tide-turning ultimates, stay alive and continue this rampaging stream. And now 97% So close, seems so far. One more bomb could take down their healer. Awry will go down. stolzey looking to get taken by Skullest, but he's not going to need to. Cube team 3-0 over Eager.
This is remarkable, the synergy between these two players. We talked a bit about it previously with Josh Kent and said, do they have the communication with the Deep Roots Grover comboing so well with Bomb King? Obviously they do. stolzey goes down, rampage for Skullest. This is looking good for the team in blue.
And they want to keep this momentum rolling. A snake comes across the map, but it's not what they're worrying about there. They've got shotguns, they've got bombs. They're not worried about some snakes there. Reptiles don't scare them, but you know Skullest, he's the one who has been making it just all Eager's a nightmare today. You see another pause coming through, and it has been largely not only a very surprising win and kind of performance here from Cube Team, but a very surprising and dominant performance by Skullest, who has not really shown his Bomb King. We weren't seeing this last set.
We saw a little bit of it, but
not this impactful.
No, definitely not. It's the degree of the execution coming through, the champion synergy coming through from both of these teams, which is really having such a big impact, it would seem to me. And a lot of that, I don't want to hop on about it. I know I'm the Grover guy. I know that Nick is the Grover guy too, but it's just this setup between Deep Roots and these tracks is so good.
I wanted to actually bring that up because Deep Roots we saw get picked up in the Eager Kanga match, and we didn't see actually Grover have this big an impact. We saw a lot of those roots not really land, and look at that, the Hyper Beam canceled out because he dies. This could be a 4-0 by the Brazilians. No one would have thought this would have happened.
No, certainly not, and now the axes come out down the long line of the sight straight towards base. Skullest is up, forcing the front line through with Grumpy Bomb. The ultimates are ready. Almost 4 across the board for Cube Team here. Airborne looking for the damage. Barrage is incoming, but out comes Whirlwind to counter. No cauterized application. Cube Team are rolling through right now, and they only need the King Bomb to maybe convert, but stolzey takes out Pingss, finds a double kill onto Skullest, and they've taken the wind out of the sails of Cube Team and can now at last establish a defense. 1 minute and 14 seconds left on this push. There's still chance for Cube to come back through.
stolzey's gotten like 7 kills in a row right now.
Yeah, he's fragging.
Been pretty nuts here, and he's running Firefight, and this is an interesting decision. stolzey's expecting Skullest's aggression. He's expecting Buck's aggression and getting in his face. Even Grover or Grok or Barrack, all these characters,
big targets.
They like to be big and in your face, and with Firefight, he's going to be able to get 30% of that extra damage when he doesn't have the in-down sights, but it just means he's not able to be effective from long range. Skullest goes down again to stolzey, but Ruukia picks up Awry.
And the shock pulse damage coming through, sitting on that Tempest is going to be Ruukia. GTF, though, needs help. They need some help. They need their recovery. It is up around the corner. Blossom should be available. Diving in, looking for the damages. GTF, Bitey so low, gets fragged out. Tempest coming through. Can Wi-Fi hold? It's going to be the Dread Serpent, but King Bomb is available. Can Skullest find the damage? And they can. Makoa goes down, and it's all up to Eager, stolzey, and ShadeeyShades to defend. But is anybody left around? I don't think so. That's going to be the payload push. 4-0 victory for the underdog team. Q Team coming out the gate strong.
And the crowd goes wild. It is a moment that I think our fans from Brazil, our players from Brazil deserve and love and are excited about, because, you know, this region has showed up and has yet to really make an impact, yet to win games, and now finally showing that the practice, the time, the LAN experience has paid off, and they take Eager in their first game of the set. This is wild.
My goodness, it's an unbelievable outcome, and certainly something which promises so much for the scene as a whole in all of these international scenes. It's not a case of it's Europe and North America anymore. All that practice that they got in early closed beta before the game actually came to international regions, that playing field is being leveled, and we'll certainly see that coming through. And in that last game, we saw, you know, Bomb King Skullest go wild, but who else did we see really perform?
Oh, it's the fan favorite here. Ruukia came in 25-4. You know, 47,000 damage on Grok. The 27,000 healing, though, a larger number than we see. We see those in the 17,000s a lot of times, around the 10s, not the 20s, closing in on the 30s. Able to perform, not only just perform, but perform at such a high level, you know, on this team, being somebody that no one has really seen in North America or Europe, and just come out and be a game changer. Sheepa was saying the other day, you know, not the other day, but in this match, he had to verse her, and she was Shaolin, and he was Eevee. He's like, yo, she bodied me, man.
I mean, that's what we saw coming through on Serpent Beach, right? We saw the damage come through the Dragon Punch, single out a single player.
And she's on the phone now. Come on, girl. Come on, girl. Now she's like, what's happened? I mean, This is funny. You know, I love this. We need more of this in esports here.
But you just mentioned Eevee right there. You know who else is a good Eevee player and a great Eevee player on Eager, which we didn't see come out on Frogger despite maybe expecting it to? It's going to be ShadeeyShades.
Oh, yeah. And that's the guy who I think was largely didn't show up today. And I think part of the reason why it was... And not today. Let me preface that comment. I think he showed up earlier in the set versus Kanga, made some very interesting things happen, but I didn't see him in this game, and I think he's somebody that Eager's success shifts on. He is that tilt that can make them be extremely dangerous or extremely lackluster.
See, at that point, I'd say maybe he's more of a pivot than a tilt. If he's a tilt, then well, that's something, a team decision, which you might want to have to figure out on the inside.
Maybe it is a pivot. Maybe I just didn't get the right word on the first try, Vox, okay?
Oh, my
Maybe
goodness.
that
It's
happened.
almost like
Not everybody's an encyclopedia.
It's almost like you're British.
It's almost like I'm... Cheers, love. I'm not British. Vox, should I do this cast in a British voice?
Oh, my god. You're actually good.
Would you like to do that?
Now you're tilting me.
Why?
Oh, my goodness.
What, Vox? What's the issue, mate?
Oh, my... Oh.
Honestly. I'm
Honestly?
British, you're British.
Mate.
We're having fun.
Mate.
What's the problem?
Oh, my goodness.
Cheers,
you know what the
love.
problem is?
We're having a kerfuffle,
You're
Vox.
not actually Lex.
We're buying... Oh, what do you mean I'm not Lex?
Oh, my goodness.
What do you mean now?
You're going to pull out the
That is
magnums any
rubbish.
second, aren't you?
That is absolute rubbish. That's pretty good, right? That's not bad. Vox, come on, man. I can't touch it.
You're killing me here.
I'm killing you. I know.
You're killing
Everybody
me.
says I have a really bad English accent. I don't get it. It's not bad. Is
It's
bad?
I mean, compared to some areas of England, it sounds very good to me. Then again, I grew up in Wales, a country which, according to Cret, doesn't exist.
Well, Cret, a lot of things don't exist. Like
Yeah, you're right.
logic.
Hair.
Just kidding. Throwing shade out there.
Yeah.
Cret, we love you. One of the designers here for Paladins actually cast with us on the Gauntlet as well. And when Nick had to not be here to qualify some of these teams, AGG and actually Interlopers, formerly Interlopers, now WASD, they're going to be playing tomorrow. And that's going to be an exciting one. But going into game 2 here, look at the atmosphere. The shift, right? We saw a little bit of hesitation, I feel like, on Cube, a little bit of anxiety, some angst. Seems like they freed up. Weight off their shoulders here, getting a win.
A little bit looser, and that's going to matter a lot. It's not just the mental impact, it's going to be the physical impact as well. You got to remember, at the end of the day, you're playing a video game, yeah, and you're not playing necessarily a sport where you might be relying on your physical abilities in the same sense, but it's still precision when it comes down to your aiming. And if your shoulder, if your elbow, if your wrist is all tight, if you're sitting there and you're stressed, that's going to impact on your performance as well. So having a bit of an easy victory and a 4-0 sweep right at the start, I mean, that's going to loosen everybody up nicely. And we're heading through now to the next map. It's gonna be
Serpent Beach. That's right.
Nighttime.
Got the nice little nighttime map
got
here.
some mood lighting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We just bring out all of the good things that come out.
I want to go get dinner on Serpent Beach one day.
Oh yeah, that's a
beautiful.
romantic spot.
Yeah.
Take a friend.
Depends if they like snakes.
Take a more than friend. We'll see.
I mean, there's some background noise in there. I heard there's a fair bit of hiss.
It might be a little bit dangerous. You might want to have some snake venom vaccines ready to go.
We'll just bring Maldamba.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems to get on with them relatively well. But first pick, though, coming out for Team Eager in the champion draft. Unsurprisingly, Bomb King Cube team. How do they respond?
And this is where we will see Cube teams merit their worth. Will come through here, and a lot of teams' worth will be measured by how well they can not only play with the Bomb King, but play against it. However, they have the advantage here, Vox, because they're going to be able to get Bomb King for the games that matter enough to win the series if they keep winning with him.
This is very, very true, and so it will be. Makoa and Drogos picked up now. Now, I'm a little bit surprised by this. Based off of the previous performance of Charlene on Serpent Beach for Cube Team, not prioritizing that, a little bit strange, but you can understand why Cube Team don't want to give double AoE to Team Eager. It's a little bit too much.
Ooh, early Lex here by Eager. stolzey just seeming to prioritize that. And the Shaolin as well. Shades is showing he's an incredibly good Shaolin player. But, you know, last time we saw stolzey actually play the Bomb King. Not sure if they're going this route here with Eager.
Eager have a lot more flex potential than a lot of players give them, or a lot of people give them credit for, especially since we're so used to seeing stolzey on Androxus. You go, oh, he's going to play Lex, he's going to do XYZ. It's like, he'll play Bomb King, will frag out. He'll play Shaolin and frag out just because these players have these sort of name-state champions which they've really built up a reputation for.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that they're anything besides non-versatile. Cube Team, though, they're pulling out the Grover once again. It worked one time, and it can work a second. The line of sights are here, and Grok as well. Shaolin already taken off the board. It's a good look.
I love this. I mean, the fact that, you know, Pingss is going to be able to play Deep Roots Grover yet again, it just proves so effective. And you know what? That's another way to deal with Bomb King. If you just lock him down, he's got no mobility, he's a sitting duck, And if you have enough damage, you're going to be able to finish them off. Maybe a Fusillade Drogos, a combustible Drogos, that might be able to do the deed.
And if we look at Team Eager's draft so far, Bomb King, High Mobility, you've got to take Deep Roots versus them because Cripple doesn't work on Poppy Bomb, of course.
Yep.
But Lex and Charlene, champions which rely on their mobility. Lex with Combat Slide, Charlene with their Withdraw to keep safe, being able to root them down in place to cripple them out, to stop those movement abilities from coming through. Nice pickup by Cube Team, but they've got to hit those. They've got to hit those axes.
And right now we have to understand that, you know, with Grover, obviously probably serving more of a, you know, Grok serving the aggro healer role. Grover has probably more of the main healer responsibility, but his healing can largely get negated by Cauterize if they fall early. One of the biggest things we didn't mention last game is they pick up Buck as their last pick. A little interesting. I'll let you talk about that, Vox. But one of the things we didn't mention is Cube Team had the favor of having the item advantage because they kept winning the point capture. If they don't win that first point, they could be facing Cauterize 2s at the start of round 2, and that would be bad.
And that seems like, well, that's the nature of Frog Isle to a degree. Is if you win, if you snowball through the enemy team, it's not just that they don't get the bonus credits from capturing the objective, it's that they don't get the chance to build back any credits in by just having a long out slugfest on the defense and winning and getting some kills there. And that's really crucial here. And speaking of credits, I mean, Team Eager, they have Lex to them. That Cauterize is probably going to be coming through. Cauterize 2 round 2. I would expect maybe even a Cauterize 3 in a mid-round buy just based off that bounty mechanic. If Lex goes big, shutting them down is going to be so crucial for Cube Team. But I'm wondering who's going to do it. Buck has some shutdown potential, but if they dive into a Torvald, it's going to be dangerous.
You know, Buck, usually we see the synergy with the Torvald, now on the opposite side. And we do just see, I think there's merit for saying, let's do what works. Let's, if it ain't broke, don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And having Grover and Grok back on the lineup yet again, I think is a strong look. And GTFA feeling confident on his Buck. Serpent Beach, admittedly, Vox is a map Buck does well on.
Oh my goodness, the amount of times I've seen Perdo go buck wild on this map, especially utilizing the Bounce House Legendary. I've not got enough fingers.
Yeah,
and, well,
me neither.
I need my fingers to count, apparently. But still, I'm wondering where Cube Team is going to get their true kill potential here. If you look at their draft, most of the burst is going to come out of Drogos, especially at close range. They've got set up with Deep Roots, they got set up with Dredge Anchor, but it feels like there's so much weight on the Drogos players' shoulders, whoever that will be for their team, to land maybe Fusillade direct hits. And that's going to be a bit of a questionable decision if Team Eager just spread out and spread their attacks from all different sides.
There's kind of two routes, right? You can go the Wormjets Drogos and kind of try and skate around and be hard to catch and get up and basically go through all the areas of Serpent Beach, which allow you to duck and dive the hot damage. But really, you know, Fusillade, I think, is going to be the strongest choice here, especially when combined with the Deep Roots from Grover. He's going to have the opportunity to really just punish anyone who gets caught. And if Pingss keeps playing as well as he did, you have to count on that. You have to trust your teammates here. You cannot go into this match saying, well, what if he doesn't perform? You got to assume that he's going to perform, and you got to implement your game plan.
Oh, Pingss absolutely performed last game as well, and I feel like so much of that comes from the synergy with the rest of their team's comp as well. The slow from Grok's shot pulse allows these deep root axes to come out big, and that's one reason I think we're starting to see these champions together so much more. Obviously, you don't want to pick Grover into a lot of deployables. It's difficult because you don't deal bonus damage to them, but just that big area slow allows you to confirm your shot so much easier. It synergizes so well with Drogos, with Grover, and Buck as well. Just net shot can set up a single target kill if Torvald tries to rush straight into the front line.
And Buck does decent damage. He's a safe Eevee in the way that he's got a big health pool. He's got self-sustain with his healing. He's got a right click that also slows. And most people taking Bounce House won't get the bonus damage from that right click, but it'll still set up whether it is another Deep Roots or whether that shot pulse and the slow comes through. It's going to mean that Buck, when he goes Buck Wild with the double damage, could be hitting for over 1,000, close to 1,400 damage, and really impacting somebody like a stationary Torvald.
And especially if they're landing as well, their heroic leap bonus damage.
Oh, yeah.
It just all starts to add up very, very quickly. The Buck combos and the number crunching behind the scenes, which we've done, is a little bit crazy, especially if linked with Torvald, but against Torvald, well, it can be a little bit different. I'm looking now towards ultimates between Team Eager and Cube Team, because as we get later and later into the game, as Grover's, healing starts to fall off, as Cauterize comes online a little bit more, a lot of these initial fights are going to be decided by who gains the ultimate advantage and how they're utilized. What are you seeing here which might give you an edge for one of these teams or the other?
You know what? For me, largely, the ultimate advantage is it's even for two reasons. Two reasons, really. And I think it's slightly towards Eager, but it evens out in this way. I think Makoa and Drogos have such good ultimates that they count a little bit more, especially than the Shaolin. I think they count a little bit more in terms of reliability than Lex's. And Serpent Beach, in terms of practicality, I think Torvald's a little bit admittedly less effective for the most part. Sometimes it could be good on this map.
In terms of kill potential, certainly, but at least not in degree of displacement from the objective.
Yeah.
That still comes into play.
Yeah.
And Makoa now not CC immune in their Ancient Rage.
No, yeah, it's he's gonna be able. I mean, the thing is, there's Torvald, and we've seen Makoa can hook a Torvald who starts ulting and take him with him.
Oh yeah,
and that's a fun one right there. Down,
it certainly is.
Into the drink.
Into the drink,
as you might say,
absolutely.
Off the map. But I mean, Bomb King and Maldamba, those are two really strong ultimates and two really strong characters. And if Lex can land the law, it is game changing.
It certainly will be, and as you said, this setup is going to be crucial here. If Team Eager land the perfect moment, then that could be a team wipe. We've seen it happen before, maybe not in competitive, but certainly in casual games. The 5-man, the pentakill execute can come through, but it depends on so many different factors, and with the amount of healing the Cube team has early on, it's just unlikely to happen unless the timing is immaculate between Team Eager's players. You've got to pre-fire the law and then trigger King Bomb, otherwise Whirlwind's going to have everybody back at full HP. But Q Team, in terms of their ults, they're sitting on 2 major healing sustain ultimates there. I feel like as we see the game get later and later, with Whirlwind going to drop off a little bit, that would be used for more burst healing if you can disengage from an engagement. Grok and Tempest, I think we're going to see more of the utility uses of it rather than sustain.
It's less clear-cut how good they are because it depends on the player, it depends on the situation that you use it in. Grok can be largely advantageous when you have a very good advantage already going, or you've captured the right moment and said, this is now when I ult to make this even more of our moment as a team. And Grover, if you're winning, that ult is amazing. It's full health for everybody for like 5 seconds. If you're losing, you're down, that ult is largely just you die and everyone else dies and you've wasted an opportunity where they think they could live.
So, quick question for you. Last time we saw Grover Deep Roots do so much work, do you expect to see early resilience itemization come through?
No, but I don't think that it put it past round 2, it being a valuable thing that Bitey and squad go into. Accelerant's going to be there for Eager. Field Study there for Wi-Fi on Torvald. Recurve for ShadeeyShades, Shaolin. Awry, Spirits Chosen, extra healing for Maldamba, and Death Hastens, the go-to legendary for Lex.
And on the side of Cube Team, currently up 1 game in this set, it'll be Nada on Makoa with Half Shell. It will be Ruukia on Grok with Maelstrom. Skullest on Drogoz with Wormjets here so far. Pingss on Grover with Deep Roots, and GTFAFM on Bounce House Buck. And interesting to see the last minute switch up to Wormjets there from Drogoz, so hypermobile, but the kill potential from Cube Team has been drastically reduced. I say that. First blood.
stolzey already goes down to Buck, and this is not something that you want, and largely Buck wins the matchup with Lex. Lex, one of the only, he can bully a lot of people, but one of the only people he can't bully, it's Big Bad Buck, and he doesn't need hair to get the job done. It takes 3 of them to go ahead and finish him off, and stolzey dies for the 2nd time thanks to Pingss and the Deep Roots Grover. 48%, 51 now for Cube Team, and they're taking it to Eager on another map yet again.
You don't need hair to get the job done. I'm very glad to hear that. You know, the Grumpy Bomb stun does not hit anybody coming through from Team Eager. Everybody's staying alive. Torvald onto the objective. There was a big Runic Blast setup there, but there's no follow-up coming through at all.
Pingss is out of this world, and watch him die right now just because of the fact that I said something good about him. Caster Curse, Bitey with the double kill, stolzey with 1. Ruukia and Pingss go down, and so does Nada, and now this is their chance. Eager know they need to press the advantage, and Bitey, he's going to do just that.
Also notable, just min-maxing coming through there from Bitey. Recognize Field Study is still on him. Sticks 2, then detonates instead of detonating 1 by 1 to get the bonus damage from Field Study's Torvald coming through on 2 shots. And look at stolzey's positioning now, making sure that nobody can reach the objective. 2 minutes and 15 in, and it's all about Team Eagle on the retake. Triple kill for Bitey.
You might want to move there,
That's
buddy.
a trap.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was kind of, his mind was working a little slower than he needed it to at that moment. It's just like, 1 bomb, 2, what is he throwing them at the ground? Why is he, oh, okay, because it insta-kills me. That's right, I shouldn't stand there. And you shouldn't stand together on a Bomb King as well. Cube Team started off so strong, but where has it gone? They finally get a kill. GTFA kills Bitey, and that largely will help Ruukia here to snowball this fight here. Shock Pulse is going to do a lot of damage, and it will take down stolzey.
But the turnaround will come through. stolzey answering back on Ruukia. Pingss will answer back again, but ShadeeyShades is still here. Even if Rooted is still escorting the payload, nobody so far going to be around it in order to stop things from going out. Nice withdrawal from ShadeeyShades, keeps himself alive, can't find the air shots onto Drogoz, and the payload is gradually pushing forwards and forwards, but at this point, Cube Team, they've reached the optimal position to defend.
You know what, and Vox, I'm going to call this right now. I think Wormjets was a bad decision.
You think it was a bad decision?
Barrage should have been what he went for. I think it punishes the Torvald. I think it helps secure the punish coming out as Wi-Fi there gets a double kill off the map. You know, but Drogo's not able to really just punish off of the deep roots. I mean, you get the root there, and you need to be hitting for 1,300. Now you're hitting for 850 instead. I just think that doesn't take advantage of what you guys needed to do. I'm
going to have to agree with you there, and I did worry about that when I saw deep roots come through. The mobility is nice, but you're not even playing into a composition which has a huge amount of aerial shutdown. Dread Serpent from Maldamba, though, counted out. Here's going to be the whirlwind from Grover. Everybody on Cube Team staying alive for the time being, but also Tempest used in that fight as well. Everything that Cube Team has, with the exception of Ancient Rage, has been spent here, and there's still 40 seconds left.
GTFA takes stolzey yet again. Buck wins the duo against the 1v1 against Lex, and Ruukia picks up a double kill of her own. So that's a full wipe. They needed this, Vox, because like we said, Grover, he falls off big time with Cauterize, and now that Eager has 300 credits in advance, they've got to get some kills here to try and even up the credit lead.
And it's not just the kills that they need, they also need the damage just to recharge their ultimates in this situation. They need to be brawling. We saw all of them expended with the exception of Ancient Rage in that last fight, and now Cube Team will be at a significant ultimate deficit coming into the next objective fight, whereas Team Eager, they're currently still sitting on King Bomb, they're currently sitting on the Lore still. Payload timer ticking down, we're in overtime. Who's going to come out on top?
Uh-oh, a lot of damage there coming out from Ruukia. Shock Pulse can do wonders! It's going to hit, oh my god, 5 of them, and she will set up a lot of kills, but Awry and stolzey, they're going to do the deed and take down everyone who would have been the threat. Stunned down on the ground. stolzey with 2. Bitey and his buddy who moved over to Eager to play with him are just running right here, and Cube Team find themselves down 2-0.
Let's talk credits and check out stolzey's already sitting on a Cauterize 3. Lex finding their bounty kills is going big in this game, and we mentioned so early on how all of these ultimates, all the healing coming through, the support from Cube Team is going to be counted out so significantly if that Cauterize 3 gets online, and Lex was going to be the one to do it, even if Team Eager are on the back foot.
Yikes.
Now they're not on the back foot, the deficit is even more clear. Cauterize 1 for GTF, and notably a lot of other itemization coming through, but Ruukia is the only one with a Cauterize 2 on Cube Team. That'll mean big things in this next upcoming fight.
If she can get a ride down, if they can get the healing out of the way, and no Dread Serpent here will be important. Don't want him to even charge that ult. stolzey has a large advantage here with the poke, but he may go down. He's going to use that just to heal up with Fortitude, but he's so close to falling down now. Pingss looking for a deep root. There's the Dragon Punch. He's going to have to find one. He took the speed mobility legendary, but that does all the damage it'll need. Awry, though, takes down Skullest, but Ruukia slays Bitey, and Cube Team have the advantage.
Just getting the Torvald off the table so imperative in that fight, making sure that protection is no longer available, gives the early advantage to Cube Team, 39% and climbing now as stolzey goes down again. It is a good look. The kills are being traded back and forth now, and Team Eager, they're sitting on a lot of ultimates. Cube Team have to be aggressive here, but not overextend. No, they're too poked out. Disengage, and they will do wisely.
Oh man, they missed on the Buck. Finally, they're going to get him, but they moved all the way over here just to kill the Buck. And will it end up causing his life? Because now he's in front of a Makoa who's got Ancient Rage, and there's no way he can burn him. That miss cost him his life in this fight, and will that come back to haunt him? It will come back to haunt Wi-Fi right now, and Drogo's is out of the area that is getting exposed to the Dread Serpent, so he won't be feared, and he's up in the air now. stolzey doesn't see him. Let's see if the Swarm Jets can pay off.
Out
so
comes
far has
Whirlwind as well. The Buck Wild coming through. The damage from GTF is real, but stolzey takes down Skullest. Tempest shut down as well. Team Eager, they're going to do it again. 99% to Cube Team, and they're back on the objective. The mid-air shots to GTF are a little bit too much, but that is a nice Dredge Anchor coming through, but again, Torvald is back. Protection's just too good.
And it just was so unfortunate here to see all that happened, but don't worry about this. They've got their whole team back right now, Vox. They had enough on the point. Eager didn't have enough so that they can have at least a chance to retake this. Ruukia with a nice Ghost Walk and to stay alive gives Skullest a chance to finish off ShadeeyShades, but like we said, when Shades gets going, it just means all good things for Eager. GTFA is going to find himself falling down to the combined pressure, and though it's 99-99, it will largely, most likely, and definitely now be a 3-0 point objective captured for Eager.
Oh my goodness, Team Eager, they're like sharks in the water right now. They've got teeth, they've got Bitey as well on bonking up in the high ground. The area damage on Drogo's is huge, punished by the Deep Roots Grover, but that all the while the payload is pushing, nobody is out there stalling this out.
Now, do you see how many times in that last point fight, I just want to bring it up, how many times that actually Skullest hit stolzey and Shades in that right corner when he's hunting around? He hit them once or twice. If that was an actual Fusillade Drogos, I think that would have killed him. It would have killed the Torvald in the 2 shots. He wouldn't have gotten blown away from the Hyper Beam. I just think that it was a little bit of a lack of awareness of what their team was trying to do, and they've made it work, but I just don't think they put their best foot forward here.
You know, pulling back into a little bit about what Josh Kent was saying earlier, how a lot of these teams, they can learn drafting on paper, but do they necessarily have the understanding as to the individual playstyles and why these picks come through? Well, that might be something which Cube Team are demonstrating maybe a little bit of a deficit in. They're trying to hold on, though. The Grumpy Stun is good. Ruukia has been silenced. Hyper Beam is ready. Torvald's going to use it. Wi-Fi blows Buck away. Bounce House won't keep you safe, but the respawns are here, and there is maybe some damage on the table for the side of Cube Team, but will it be enough?
Huge stuff there by Bitey, giving a nice shield, and stolzey from the back line poking for 2-300, 420 to finish it off.
To finish off the Grover.
To finish off the Grover.
All right.
The tree gets taken down by the perfect amount of damage.
I mean, he got lit up.
Look at Bitey, man, clapping, slapping his hands together. Can't believe they almost lost that first objective, almost lost the second one.
So close.
Awry, he's the only one that kind of, I think, wearing his emotions on his sleeves there. Maybe a little bit of consternation, some worry.
A little bit of worry is definitely what I would want Eager to have right now, because if Eager didn't have the ultimate advantage for the retake, especially that second time around, if Cube had just had the discipline to say, we'll give the enemy their conversion and not feed them kills and not use our ultimates here, that could have been very, very different this time around.
I think the great word that you gave me, Vox, because you're a human encyclopedia.
British.
A human dictionary, more so. A British dictionary.
What do you call me?
Are they different than English dictionaries?
Maybe.
Probably. You guys spell like colors and stuff like that different, right?
We
You put
like
U
putting
in there.
U's and everything.
Yeah, it's a waste of time, by the way. Just letting you know.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
Efficiency.
No, I'm kidding. I love it. But what really was the pivot here is ShadeeyShades. We talked about him having an average game, and Eager performed average or below average. Now he has an excellent game, 24-4, only 4 deaths in that entire time, and they have an excellent game. They win 4-0.
Number of deaths correlates to number of points, maybe?
That's probably what it is.
A lot of damage on the table, though, and notably in that second capture retake was just free firing from around a corner. Poke out, fire a shot, back into cover. Poke out, fire a shot, back into cover. Just staying safe the entire time. You mentioned how Drogos was firing shots off onto Maldamba and off onto Lex as well, but Shaolin was relatively untouched that game, and whilst they missed a few shots towards the end of the round, the rest of the team was there to pick up any slack that was dropped. But we saw a lot of good performance come through despite the lack of Fusillade from Skullest on Drogos.
You know, maybe the smallest member of the team, our Cube team, but definitely playing like one of the biggest ones. He was the Bomb King in the previous game that gave them the victory, and he is the Drogos in this last game that maybe made the decision, at least in my eyes, that wasn't exactly optimal for his team composition and following up with that damage. And it did come back to haunt them. 10 deaths for him, only 19 eliminations. You know, Vox, the big question now, and not the big question, but the big talking point is that Bomb Kings have won again, and it's been, I think, 6 games in a row that we've seen the Bomb King win. They have the opportunity to pick Bomb King one more time. If they lose, Eager get it, but if they have to go to Game 5, they're going to get Bomb King.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one. I think that we're going to, the Bomb King needs to go to Skullest at this point. They've demonstrated a good bit of versatility on Drogos. We know that they have an Eevee in their pocket from their performance at HRX, but really Bomb King is where they feel at home here. And I think that's what is necessary for Cube to at least pull an advantage in or get any kind of headway versus Eager.
And the most important thing is that Skullest, he played a decent Drogos despite maybe not picking the legendary that I thought was great. But I think the fact is stolzey admittedly was really practicing Drogos the last few months because Drogos became so needed in this meta. They don't have that kind of typical Bugsy on Eager where you know who's playing Drogos if Drogos gets picked. I think stolzey has taken up the task of learning it. It's part of his commitment. The guy, we talked to him, he was here not only for the Spring Fling and the charity event, but he's here just for the last few days hanging out. He plays Paladins 8 hours a day. He loves the game. He streams the game. He works competitively for the game. And he took it upon himself to say, I'm going to learn this champion, and I'm going to play it to the best.
And I think that's going to be very necessary. Just based off a little bit of observation I had the opportunity to sit and chill with a few members from Team Eager whilst they were watching District 69 versus Kenga. And one of the things which I heard them remarking is, we love Tyra, we want Tyra, but we need a Drogoz. We've got to have that area damage. We've got to have that direct hit potential. And a lot of that comes down to as well what Josh Kent mentioned earlier. Tyra does good damage stats, but if that's all soaked and all healed, then it's really not effective damage. Whereas Drogoz, they are a burster, and that is certainly effective damage when it comes down to it.
Yeah, and you know, Jaguar Falls will be the next map. This is a map where, you know, Jaguar Falls. We see, speaking of Drogo specifically, because we have seen him kind of be the secondary front runner. You know, we've seen in the legendaries, we've seen everything here. We've seen Wormjets, we've seen Combustible, we've even seen Fusillade. With really Eager picking it up here, I think Combustible, yeah, that's what I was going to say, could be really nice because of the tightly packed areas.
I feel like it's very much comp dependent. If you have the Makoa setup, then Fusillade just seems to offer a little bit more viability. But if you're fighting against a variety of different opponents, if they're heavy on stealth, then Combustible can be useful. But also if they're heavy on point stick. The Cube team, they got first pick this time around as well as the map draft. It will be Jaguar Falls. First pick Bomb King comes through. And Team Eager are yet to respond.
And honestly, I'm really curious to see how Eager can play here. I think in the first game, we did see Cube Team, although they both won, you know, I think 4-0s, I believe, or 4-1s or something of the nature. It was very, very one-sided. I saw Cube Team put a bit of a fight up in this last Serpent Beach game. They were really close, even though they didn't have Bomb King. I'd like to see Eager show that same type of resolve here and show that it's not just the King that's going to determine the wins. The team is going to determine who wins.
Exactly. It comes down to the execution. And, well, Cube Team, they could draft Lex, the Executor, here in just a second.
Yeah.
But they need frontline, they need support online, and so far they've been heavily prioritizing Grok, coming through as a second or third pick for many of these players. So Grok, it will be as well as Barrack into Drogo's questionable, but at the same time, a strong frontliner, especially on this map due to the lock-off that their barricade provides.
And I think it's going to be a good draft thus far. They've got some comfort picks there. Ruukia seemed to be probably on the Grok yet again, but she's played on the shot lane, and that hasn't been taken yet, so they could flex that. They have the last two picks, but they won't have a last pick this time. So will we see the Buck come out? They've really favored that for GTF. Eager now going into the Lex and the Ying, which seems to be something they're favoring.
I don't want to see the Buck in this situation, but they are favoring Lex, certainly. stolzey loves Lex, you know, it's one of the things which he's talked about. He's played a lot of Lex on stream.
No.
I think that he was Masters so far. Hold that thought. We'll come back to that in just a second, because what is this I'm seeing hovered?
No.
It's Jaguar Falls. You gotta play the cat in the cat map.
I hope this isn't. Oh, it's a little bit. Almost. They were hovering the Mave.
Oh my goodness. Now the players are tilting me.
And now it's just something that, you know, obviously.
Dude, I started the day off as like bold and now I'm italicized. My goodness.
It's the strong tilt there.
Yeah, very much so.
The elegant tilt. And so Androxus Grover picked up, so they get their flanker, Cube, and Brazil largely going with the flankers here. And so is Eager. They're committing to the Lex flank. And this is a girl, the Hunter's daughter. We haven't seen her in a while. Cassie coming through in what seems like, except from Lex, more of an older school draft here by Eager.
Potentially, and especially with no Charlene on the table, it's curious to see Cassie being drafted like this. And let's just talk about that for a second, because Charlene's been so heavily prioritized that with no Charlene available, you'd think maybe they're going to be drafted, but obviously don't want to deal with what Cube Team is putting into them. Maybe that withdrawal is just a little bit too vulnerable to Deep Roots Grover, and we've seen that come out many times before, and they just want to go for that rapid dodge roll cooldown so they can immediately get out of the way.
And the other thing is Androxus largely counters a lot of what Shaolin does with the Planet, and also the withdrawal doesn't give you enough space really to, I think, move away from all that damage coming out from Godslayer, and we'll see if stolzey decides to run that or if he keeps it simple. Sorry, not stolzey. GTFA decides to run that or if he keeps it simple. Fortified Barrack for Nada. He's whatever Androxus is being played.
Pretty much.
Maelstrom Grok for Ruukia. Accelerate for Skullest. Deep Roots Grover and Godslayer it is for GTFA.
And so far we have ShadeeyShades on catch. He's going to be running Exactions. It's going to be Wormjets, Drogos for Bitey. Wi-Fi Mako with Half Shell. Will be Awry Ying with Lifelike and stolzey on Lex with Death Hastens. Initial fight kicks off. Massive reversal over 3,000, but straight into the shell shield, so no effective damage there.
And that is going to be good. GTFA showing that he knows how to deal with Androxus. Is stolzey. It's going to get hit by Godslayer. Whoa! The turnaround shot. Defiance. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
and then he hits him with the double kill. GTFA styling on the man who invented Androxus out here in North America.
And I love that trade right at the end. The projectile's already being fired by Drogos. They get the kill, they get the trade, but still it's advantage to Cube Team. Skullest forcing out the angle angles, forcing the entryways with Grumpy Bomb in one direction, getting ready to trap the other. Eager need to make their move and get back in onto this fight, but do they have an avenue of entry? It's going to have to come from Lex, who power slides on in. Combat slide is good enough, though. stolzey finds one at the end of 3 kills, and now it's all looking like Eager. Just Barrack remains. They won't last for long. 3K for Lex, and they're back on form.
Full wipe there on the Cube team. You might have just woken up the beast. stolzey doesn't like getting styled on, especially by the champions that he has made himself a name for. He's on a 6 streak now, and he's going to make sure he finds himself in a more advantageous position. Team Eager, 66%. He's going to just use that to heal up yet again with Fortitude and get his health back up. 78% now. They still haven't been able to make their way on the point box. They might not even be able to get here.
It's going to be close. Dragon Punch comes out from Team Eager, immediately takes down Nada. GTF answers back on a Wi-Fi, but again, it's all about Eager. The stuns are coming through, but will it be enough? stolzey finds 2, gets answered back, but GTF direct hit. Bitey takes them down. Look who's the Lord of the Skies. Now they say Wormjet's mobility is king.
Bitey just getting his buddies back there. stolzey largely said that when he left his team and Match Point, the old Match Point, used to dominate North America, basically split ways and went into Astral Authority. Will be playing tomorrow, and at Team Eager here, you just see that it was Bitey was one of the reasons, and right there you see he gets his back in the most important of situations. Androx is in the air, and Bitey, because of Wormjet's able to avoid that Godslayer, not able to get the angle on it because he's taken captive by Makoa's hook.
And that is so crucial. That the reactive peel coming out of Wi-Fi is enough to cut all of that damage out, which would have immediately eliminated Bitey there. And now stolzey finds an angle to poke out in the backline, finds good damage onto, well, pretty much everybody. But with only Cauterize 2 online, mid-round buy has come through for Lex with all that credits. Then it's not quite enough anti-heal to stop Grok and to stop Grover at the same time.
Oh no, and he's kind of maybe walked into a trap here. Shades is on him, he's gonna roll away, and there's a salvo, and it will take down Skullest, who's being largely a bit over-aggressive here, especially considering the fact that, you know what, you gotta be patient. You're defending. You don't necessarily need to go for that kill. You pushed him back. You don't need to run and try and get that down, and so Team Eager with the advantage here, 1-0, and ShadeeyShades in the back line now. He's on a rampage. Haven't seen the Hunter's daughter in a while, but she's showing up.
And oh my goodness, I want to see Shades loadout maybe somewhere in between the rounds, because that dodge roll was huge. Was that a double roll off the edge, or was that maybe lunge 4 coming through there? Because we know that Shades has run that previously, but being able to make that much distance is crucial in these engagements.
Oh, Bitey coming in, he's getting the damage, and despite playing Wormjets, his mobility isn't the biggest factor of his play today. Up in the air, salvo! It's not gonna find a kill. Shades will survive with 30 health, but GTFA will shut him down, and largely, great showcase of Androx's play by GTF, who has been a buck player over this series, now proving that he's got a couple more champions in his pool, a little bit more diversity added and flexibility for Team Cube.
Seems like they're a flanker main through and through. I'm surprised to maybe not see them on Bomb King, but I know that goes to Skullest, just trying to look to find bombs down the angles here. Lock off entryway with Grumpy Bomb once again, and finds maybe some damage on a Bitey in midair. Need to watch your left though. stolzey's looking to poke, but isn't finding much. Disengaged now Cube team, otherwise Team Eager is going to capitalize.
Both these teams tied up 1-1 in terms of the set, and now 1-0. Looking to make it 1-1 is a Cube team, but Team Eager is not taking that. Godslayer avoided thanks to the curb, and headshot for stolzey, but he is going to fall thanks to the shield from Barrack. And look at this whirlwind Grover keeping everyone alive before Cauterize can take effect, and Wi-Fi will fall, Awry will fall as well, and this is just looking like a very strong hold unless Shades can Superman it. So far he can't, but Bitey with a triple kill. If he gets this quadra, Bitey might just do it. He got it.
Oh no, but he fell as well at the same time. The damage was there, but we're still in overtime.
His
the respawns from Eager are there. It's gonna be Ying, it's gonna be Lex. In comes Makoa. The execute is ready. Will it be utilized around the back? But even if it isn't, Dome Shield's being burned by Cube team here. This is huge.
Lexecution coming up. Is it possible? Oh, he got one, but he's gonna get taken down by a huge Godslayer. But there's an ultimate coming out from Bitey. He's carried this game. He got himself a quadra kill. He's looking for a double kill here. He's gonna find it. Wants to find a triple. Will he get it? Grover staying alive by the skin of his branches. Not even sure Trees had that, but they will have a successful defense here. Overtime will tick away, and Cube team will live.
I'm sorry, skin of his branches. You must be barking mad.
Oh man, well, you know I might be. So you need to
yes,
leave me alone.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Well, don't be so brittle.
I won't be. If you treat me well.
You need to branch out with your puns. I've used that
Listen,
one already today. I can't do that again.
Okay, you lost.
All right, okay. I accept defeat here, but Cube Team not accepting defeat do get the successful defense rolling through. It will be so far, looking at the itemization coming through, slight advantage maybe through to Team Eager, based off the fact that they have their cauterized 3s online on Awry and stolzey. Stolzey also sitting on 300 credits, not yet expanded. What do you think that's going to go into here?
You know what? It's very, very interesting. I'm not sure he's going to pick anything up. He might be saving it for just bigger optimizations later on. Might want to get a tier 2 of something after he understands the playing field. Cauterize clearly the most important item right now on this meta.
Nice
and once you get it, you can go into Life Rip, you can go into, you know, if he's not running Condition 4, you can go into Movement Speed, which Lex can benefit from. A lot of different options here. And of course, the Bomb King ultimate is available as well. Bomb King looking to find some damage, missing a lot on his Shades, gets 2 for 1 there. Nada able to finish it off as well. Ancient Rage by Wi-Fi, perfectly timed, but the Grumpy Bomb will stun him if he comes back around.
And double kill for Bitey there as they pick up GTF and Skullest. Another good look for the Drogos, the Lord of the Skies. I mean, on a map like this, we talked about how effective Fusillade would be, and I've got to say, if Bitey was running Fusillade, the damage would be enormous, but his mobility is impacting so much. That positioning was daring, but it's going to bait Androxus all the way around the edge, and it's just allowing Team Eager to continue to gain an advantage.
And this is why he has Worm Jets. He survived that moment right there when Androxus was hunting after him, got back to his healing. That is why you pick Worm Jets on this map. And of course, he doesn't have the Deep Roots Grover to be the setup. He's got the Makoa, but they're not really working the way Pingss is working to just set up the easy fire. Now Lex has free reign. Headshot, 2 in a row. And he looks to take down GTF. Triple kill for stolzey in pursuit. Just gonna be used to get it healing up and take this away.
Maybe delayed Quadra here. Nada about to go down. It will be stolzey who comes out on top. And that cauterize onto Grover. Cauterize 3 at this stage of the game when it's 1-to-1 is brutal for anybody to deal with. stolzey just finds the damage, eventually goes down to Pingss, but it's too little too late because Cube Team, they're down again. Team Eager 2-1 on the objective score at 8 minutes and 30 in. It's a slow game, but still the red team is crawling ahead.
But the fact that they defended that last round, I mean, incredible stuff. You see Bitey playing this Worm Jet Drogos lights out on this map, especially considering you've got a Deep Roots Grover, which is essentially a built-in counter to this mobility, because you hit him once and he loses what he picked as a legendary. He doesn't have it anymore. But so Pingss has to find him.
Yeah, the prioritization from Pingss just isn't coming through there. There are maybe better targets to go for, but Bitey's looking for somebody. Maybe better targets for Bitey to go for there. Dragon Punch into a Grok. That's a bold move, friend. But still, the salvo damage comes through. Already in the base is going to be Makoa. stolzey staying alive. Bitey shuts down Pingss. Cauterize is just, again, so brutal at this stage of the game, and that's enough for the payload to push through unhindered. So close to conversion. Can Cube stabilize?
Wow, look at these headshots by stolzey. All he needs is a right click. He'll get the kill, and that is Team Eager successfully pushing incredibly powerful play and display of Lex here on Jaguar Falls by stolzey. He's got Resilience 3, he's got Cauterize 3, and he's got 590 credits left to spend here.
And that was going to be the mid-round buy, which we saw coming through from stolzey. Resilience 3, straight into it. Let's check out the damage dealt graphs in the meantime, though. Top of those charts is going to be Bitey on Drogos, 88,000 in under 10 minutes so far. It's a good look for the Lord of the Skies here. GTF, though, on Androxus playing through, has got Cauterize 3 online, though, so it's going to start becoming a bit more relevant.
Bitey just saying, you know, he told me, I wish I could flex on Drogos like this. What are you talking about, Bitey? You're playing out of this world right now, and everybody in this room and online watching knows it. But you know what? They also know they've got to pay attention now. Ultimates are ready for a lot of these players, and the Law especially coming in from stolzey. He's been using Retribution just to get the peek and poke. The damage from him is so strong early game with Death Hastens, the 40% extra when you're above 65%, and this could mean all the difference if he's able to get them down to that threshold for his ultimate to execute them.
But still on the objective has been Barrack so far in combo with Grover
78?
and their Dome Shield. So much has gone to Cube Team so far. Team Eager have got to find a way in. It might be off the back of Skullest. They're overextended, but the execute comes through, doesn't find a single kill. Nada's still on the point. It's going to be stolzey contesting. It's 99.
I actually don't understand how this happened. I don't get how they allowed
Cube Team
this
stood
to
on the
happen.
point. And they didn't,
Is that it?
They didn't move off the point.
They just stood there?
Yeah.
No one else. So I guess what I'm trying to figure out is how no one else went there on Eager. I mean, you have this flank, and obviously it doesn't work, but no one was able to take the onus of saying, I got to get on the point, you got to get on the point. They're all probably just looking at each other saying, are one of us going to get on the point?
Based off of observation, poor routing from Eager, they all go through the sunroom. Dome Shield initially zones them out, and then one barricade blocks off the entire entry point. Team Eager have to traverse around 2 big choke point angles to try and get back towards the objective, then run into open area, and they just get burned down.
And to me, this is what separates D69 and some of the European teams who just aren't. They feel like efficiency is their middle name. They just don't make those types of mistakes. And Eager largely kind of outplaying, I think, in the last 10 minutes, Cube in terms of just skill, mechanical skill. They have been winning their fights when they've had them correctly, but they just didn't prioritize the correct objective decisions there. And it could hurt them moving on in this tournament.
I would have loved to see them go the Dark Room side, the side which we're watching Wi-Fi run now, because if you go through here to the left and to the right, immediately you've got 2 entries onto the objective, but instead, all the way around the outside, it is just a little bit too far for Team Eager to go. Regardless, they're defending very effectively, held very far forwards, and Wi-Fi is just waiting for a dredge angle to set things up for their team. Half shell is dropped, the barricade is down, finds Grover, Dragon Punch is channeled, is he going to pick up a kill?
Looking for Grover, he will find it. Pingss and the deep roots will fall and will not be available for this next little moment, but Skullest will try and pick up Bitey, and actually Skullest will still be alive here, and Bitey will go down. Nada picking him up. Barrick just providing the solid, consistent damage as the frontliner to be able to secure these kills, and now the shield will come up, protect him as well. The push is still on, ladies and gentlemen, but only 37 seconds to get there.
Awry getting some lovely min-maxing there through as well. Drops illusions, shatters for the damage, then uses Dimensional Link to respawn illusions at the location of dead illusions. Just keeps the healing going for their team whilst getting some extra damage in there, but it's not enough to stop this push coming through from Cube Team. Whirlwind keeps everybody alive. Dome Shield is almost available. This could be an equalizing push, but can Cube Team afford to expend ultimates here?
I like the way that he was pressured. Shadey doesn't see him, and that's going to be Skullest picking up Shadey. That is big. Remember, we called him the pivot for Eager, and if he's out in the fight, he's not going to be able to pivot much. He's actually just going to be watching and seeing how his teammates can set this up. They do not want to use the ultimate here, but they're not going to need to. Skullest, he's going to pick up 1, maybe 2. Oh, he's going to fall, and will this come back to haunt them? They could have maybe closed this thing out, but they just look like they are staring defense in the face.
And ShadeeyShades comes in, distracted by stolzey on Lex. All of Team Eager can respawn, and Shadey picks up the double to clean things up. Cube Team could have converted there if they had used a single Dome Shield, but they elected not to, and they elected to hold on to 4 of their ultimates this round, with only Pingss having utilized Whirlwind earlier. But still, it's 2-3. We're getting into late game. All damage items, with the exception of Grover's Record 2, have been maxed out across the board. Now it comes into maybe some utility and flavor picks, and for Eager, that's also about resilience. For 4 members of that team, only ShadeeyShades on Cassie wants to be a little bit more tanky with Haven here. Cube Team on the other side, they're definitely worried about the direct damage coming in from Lex and from ShadeeyShades, but Bitey as well. So far, they've been the one doing all the hard hitting.
I like the master riding too here coming out from stolzey as well. It means he's going to be able to get to the point fast to get to where he wants to be as a flanker, and especially with the vision Cassie's ultimate's going to provide, they're going to see everyone on the side of Cube Team. But also it means that if he dies, he's going to be able to get back and impact the fight that much more. And wow, Wi-Fi takes a lot of damage, and Dome Shield's going to keep everyone safe for now. But could they kill Drogos? They're trying to, and they do. Though Bitey gets a kill on Nada, Skullest is still alive, and that is 1 blaster for Cube and none for Eager.
And unfortunately, Skullest in King Bomb there utilizes it, but no follow-up coming through. ShadeeyShades picks up the double, and it's Eager's point to lose here. Sitting 3-2 so far. They have the zone. They're catching up with Cube Team's initial point hold. No ultimates online, but the lore is very close to being ready, as is Illusory Rift from Ying as well. And look at the angle lock of the coordination from Team Eager. Cube Team, they've got to find a way in, but they're being poked out so low.
It just starts with a pick, and that's where Pingss comes in. But Pingss, he's not going to be able to play this at all. The Law will be immune by Grok's Ghost Walk, and it wasn't even actually as a result of the healing totem at the 65% threshold. But who needs it? Eager. They're going to take the victory, and they will beat Cube Team and go into this one leading 2-1 now in games. Looking at a closeout game, moving on to the next round to face Kanga. They can win the next one.
My goodness, that last game, so much of that last fight coming down to Wi-Fi's Makoa. You said it yourself. Oh, they're all so happy, and well, Team Cubed, they're sitting there. They have just lost this game on Jag Falls, which was also their map pick, being first pick as well, showing that Bomb King can be beaten. It's maybe going to be a bit of a blow to their morale here, but they've got to have the mental fortitude to come back from that. But yeah, no, when we think about it, all those fights, it started off with a pick. How did it end up like this?
Yeah, it's really interesting, man.
It was only a pick.
It was only a pick. It was only a pick. And, Bitey here, he's we talk about, I say Worm Jets was the wrong decision for when they were able to go out on Cube Team. I'm
the Serpent Beach map.
Spacing out who was actually playing at Skullest. And, Bitey takes the Legendary on probably, realistically, a better map for it, but just plays out of his mind. 128,000 damage without taking a damage Legendary for this champion. I mean, this is just impressive.
Bitey likes fragging, and so much of that seemed to come through. We talk about how maybe Fuselight is good on a map where everything's smaller, maybe combustible, but at the same time, with Jaguar Falls, you can go up with thrust, up and over the little walls on the payload push, and that's going to give you a lot of safety here, where you can pop up, drop a salvo, drop back down, fire a few more shots off, and you can sort of hover on the very top of those walls. Yeah. And that little bit of extra mobility is going to allow you to be a constant threat of harassment and nuisance to the enemy team, as opposed to really just looking to drop consistent damage coming through. But Drogoz, a notorious counter to them is going to be Androxus, but we just didn't see Androxus shine past the first couple of objectives here.
The first play that this guy made, GTF,
sizzling.
It was nuts. He hit him with the God Slayer, huge reversal. He hit him with
Defiance triple shot.
Defiance, and then shot in the air. I mean, style points for real. That gets you another 10 eliminations in my book, GTF. So you actually went 37 and 18 because of those style points. And you know what? I got to say that you're right. It didn't show up past that. We saw that Bitey, stolzey, and ShadeeyShades were the top 3 damage dealers. They just didn't have, he just wasn't able to cut it in terms of the long term of this game.
But when you look at why that might have been, I think a big part of that came down to, again, Wi-Fi's Makoa, just looking to shut down Androxus anytime they try to go into a situation. We saw a big Godslayer reversal being cancelled out by Dredge Anchor. More of that focus, please. Yes, I will take no Androxus up behind my team. And that's what Team Eagle were doing, reacting to their opponent's positions, reacting to their playstyles, and making sure they could get the shutdown where they needed to.
Now, stolzey, when he made that play, I said, you might have woken up the beast here. And stolzey showed that even after that initial bump in the road, he was able to respond in a full force here with Lex play that I think is largely some of the best we've seen, I think, today in this tournament thus far. And really showing the power of this champion, the poke from range, but also when he hit more headshots than I've seen many Lexes hit. He was actually consistently headshotting people, and that's 1,000, that's 1,300 damage.
And it's part of the way that stolzey plays. The way he plays Lex, he doesn't go for the flick shots. What he does is he sets his target. He knows the height of his target's headshot, hitbox, and he'll strafe aim from there. His mouse moves maybe side to side, but never up and down, making sure that he can just pop round from behind cover, go poke, and he's always staying consistent with where his cursor is. And when you've got a retribution mark on your target, you can pre-line that up around corners before you actually do pop up and deal some damage. But it's not just about the impact that their players had. Their itemization was crucial too. Cauterize 3 online so early versus Grover.
Yeah.
Absolutely deadly.
What was awesome, too, is look at that lineup, right, that ended up happening. You see the Cassie come through. I mean, the one thing that people haven't been playing, it's the one thing that beats Bomb King today. It's really weird.
Hypermobility.
Hypermobility, but, I mean, Abel also, you got to remember that Cassie has one of the quickest and most often able to be used movement skills in the game. And movement skills, they throw the bombs off of you. So if anyone's trying to stick off, or if you get a bomb that's even on you for 900, you could roll away, get that bomb off before he detonates it. You might be able to stay alive. And Shades, he's their pivot. He was able to really have a great game.
Not their tilt this game, then.
Not their tilt.
Not their tilt. And that actually
he tilted things in their favor.
That's true. That's true. I suppose we can have tilt in a positive light. By pivoting? Yes. My goodness. Okay, you're getting far too close to geometry again. Are we going to start going to trig? We want a math lesson here?
No, man, that's basketball.
What?
Pivot foot,
Pivot? Okay. Yeah. Look, I'm British. I don't do sports.
You don't do sports.
No, we already established that previously. Still, though, a great game coming out from both teams. A lot of potential from the side of Cube, but Eager starting to figure out some of their playstyles and strategies.
Hold on, Vox. I'm going to call you on that. What? You don't do soccer?
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
What?
I grew up in Wales.
But I'm saying, you're British, you don't do soccer. That doesn't make any sense.
We herd sheep. Wales. We have mountains, man. There's no flat ground in Wales. It's all hills and valleys and rain.
I'm calling BS.
How do you play soccer in a puddle?
I'm calling BS, Fox.
Oh my God! Inflatable.
You can stick to your story, buddy.
Inflatable.
But if you're in England and you're not thinking about soccer, that's crazy. This guy though, he's touching his face again. You know what that means, Chad?
Oh yeah.
He's got to go to the bathroom. But really, Box is laughing again. But really, you know, we saw Awry relax. The first game after they lost Cube Team, he was face stern, didn't even move a muscle, and now we see him smiling, he's thinking, he's animated here. I think this has been a big push Eager need, especially if they're going to face Kanga. They've got to go into that set with confidence.
Definitely so. And a lot of that is going to come down to the draft again, I feel. That draft was just so good for Team Eager previously, but we've got at least one more game ahead of us.
Yeah.
Where are we going to be going?
Well, we see
apparently to Kami.
All of the options, but it will not be Kami. It will be Stone Keep that will be coming for us, and that is the next map available, the newest map in Paladins. 3D text there, looking clean and beautiful. It's an enchanting place where if you happen to walk in during a Paladins match, you will most likely get blown up by bombs. There are a lot of things happening here, and
I'm noticing a bit of a little bit of correlation between that and most of the maps we've seen today. Maybe all of the maps.
Yeah.
A little bit of that, but this is
the
one
realm
map.
isn't a great place to vacation right now.
It's a little bit of a
lot of explosions.
Yeah, a lot of explosions. I mean,
beautiful explosions.
When they say come to the realm, you'll have a blast. They literally mean you'll have a blast.
You will be blasted.
It's Stone Keep. It's the Church of Grover, but it's the one map that I don't want to see Grover on coming through from Cube Team this time. They do have first pick again. They do take Bomb King. I think this is important for them. It worked so well in the first game. They need something like this to rely on here, but I do want to see a difference in the support champions that they pick up. Don't keep giving Iga, Ying, or Maldamba. Take one of those for yourselves. And at this point, it's got to be the MD, man.
I think, you know what? Here's the thing. Awry feels really comfortable on Ying, and I think less comfortable on Maldamba. I've just seen him be a lot more effective on Ying. And I think the Cube Team, if they're going to play a champ, they like Ying, but Ruukia has actually had a great amount of success on the Grok, and that's the weird part. I think she would be their Ying player here, and so we may just be looking at a champion flexibility for Cube.
Potentially, and Cube going into Barak and Xiaolin. Played a lot of Barak this set so far today. Xiaolin as well, maybe a good look for them on Stone Keep. A lot of long angles, a semi-sniper champion.
Yep.
It's going to be beneficial, maybe knock the Drogos out of the air as well. Yep. Team Eager, well, I do have a few queries as to what they might be running, especially with regards to their Drogos, but it will be Lex again on a wide open map. This is going to be a champion who's going to rely on so many of the heavy flank routes, and they do lock in Ying. Just going over to Awry, that comfort pick, so crucial.
Oh yeah, that's Awry's go-to right there, and he is going to be...
Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think so crucial, but if you've got the opportunity to take it, well, why wouldn't you?
Well, I think it's crucial. I do think it's relatively crucial because of the fact that it's just comfort, right? It feels good. He knows it in and out, and he's able to perform well. You know, Lex is a new champion, but stolzey had masters Lex in 6 hours. It's a comfort pick for him at this point. Bitey feeling so comfortable on the Drogos and Wi-Fi. I mean, he's made this Makoa his staple pick for a long time. So they will keep with the Grover as a solo healer and go with Androxus. This is very risky by Cube Team, but sometimes you need to be risky in order to get the big payoff.
Well, look at what we did see around the first time. We saw a lot of angle lock-offs on Frog Isle. That might just work again on Stone Keep, Grover, and this time Xiaolin and Bomb King. It could be a good look. I just don't know quite where the Androxus fits into this lineup besides the potential to take down Drogos. With no real flank pressure besides Alex on Team Eager, it's difficult to go into something like Victor as a last pick with still the final pick of the game left on the table for Eager, because there is always that room for Eevee, and we certainly know that Eager has an Eevee player on their squad. But it's going to be Cassie last pick. That might have been a little bit more useful, just some long-range damage, chip him down, and then execute once you get in close. But still, that Cassie, impactful last game, likely going to be again this time around.
Two things about this Cassie. Cassie's a fantastic, Cassie's a fantastic champion when played by ShadeeyShades. ShadeeyShades makes this champion work really well. Two, it's the fact that Cassie seemed to be the answer to Bomb King that Eager needed. And if they're going to play Kanga, if they're going to deal with the Bomb King really determining who's going to win these games, they need to practice what happens when they don't have Bomb King to maybe try and steal one of those wins. And now, on the side of, you see your Brazilian squad here, Cube Team, Fortify for Barrack on Nada, Deep Roots for Grover on Pingss yet again, Accelerate for Bomb King, Skullest playing him, Godslayer for GTFA, and Recurve for Ruukia, Xiaolin.
As far as your opponents go, it is going to be Team Eager, Worm Jets on Drogos for Bitey, Wi-Fi with Half Shell Makoa, Awry on Ying with Lifelike, stolzey on Lex with Death Hasten, ShadeeyShades on Exaction, Cassie straight to the back line. Go Team Eager, first blood picked up, and Xiaolin goes down. Androxus goes up but finds 3 in a row. GTF takes down stolzey, but is very low on health. Can they survive here?
Skullest actually just being focused by the Cassie from up top, and now he's going to jump up onto the Ying, and she's going to dimensional link down, and right back up, and she's going going to finish him off. Awry showing just mastery of that champion. And now Bitey, he's going to force Ruukia back out of here. Ruukia getting him with a couple of shots, but that fire spit's kind of hard to miss.
And what else is hard to miss? Oh, that shot I thought was going to go around the corner and actually hit Shaolin there because Bitey was able to close the gap so fast with Worm Jets. Not able to confirm the kill, but it's enough to dissuade Shaolin from really re-engaging here. Cube team need to look to close the gap. It's 57% and rising for Team Eager. Ultimate's getting close to being online. Watch out for Scout, but watch out for Dragon Punch here as well.
Oh, nice hook there by Wi-Fi. It's going to put GTFA in a bad spot. Grover can't heal him up in time, and now he's just throwing axes, but it's largely going to be irrelevant on this fight. He's going to get pulled by the hook, and it seems that that piece of machinery will beat out the axe today. The bombs, though, trying to make a comeback, but stolzey with a headshot will finish off Skullest, and it will be Team Eager with the 1-0 advantage. Objective captured. Ready on the push.
3 in a row. Oh no, as well. Bounty mark onto Androxus cannot escape there. stolzey with the very slow 180, just a mark of his low sensitivity, able to flip round and land the confirmation shots onto GTF. Quick in pursuit there. To no apparent really regard, maybe to heal up a little bit.
Stay topped off.
Yeah, nice to be at full HP. 2200 health overall. Lex a little bit tankier than you might find Cassie, so always good to be able to soak that extra shot. And now Barrett getting poked out low as well, but a nice reversal comes in for the save.
Very, very good stuff. Bitey now actually putting the pain on to Skullest, who, you know, having a little bit of more trouble picking up this Drogos, who largely hasn't been played with Worm Jets today. We've seen Bomb King be so effective and even chase down the Drogos, but not this speedy version.
And now let's just talk about what we just saw Bitey do there. Barricade goes down and Barrack. Tart goes down as well. You think Barrack's going to be safe there. Bitey just Worm Jets directly through the barricade and starts dropping shots immediately straight down onto the Barrack. He's not saying that barricade isn't hindering Bitey. He's not trying to shoot through it. He's just going straight through it himself and bypassing it entirely. That stationary shield is no longer the path of safety. The tracking coming through from Bitey too as well is enormous. And this is Team Eager looking to push through. Salvo will connect. Ruukia goes down. Will the respawns be in time? Barrack buys some time, but it's going to be a nice dredge anchor. And Team Eager push successfully 2-0.
This is one of those moments where I think the crowd can feel it. I think the players can feel it. This game, this set, might have just gotten out of
there's some electricity in the air, but we're missing a grok from the draft.
We are.
It seems unusual at this point.
You know, it's just more of that thing where momentum starts to take place. It becomes apparent. It becomes a palpable particle in the air that you can sense and feel. And it just seems like Cube have lost what they had in the beginning, and Eager have taken all of it for themselves. And Bitey on this Worm Jets Drogos has proven that he knows how to deal with a Bomb King.
Now, as we get ready to go through into the second capture objective of this game, number 4, Team Eager. Sitting up 2 games so far, look poised to take it all. The ultimates are online for Drogos and Makoa. On the other side of things, everything is up for Cube Team. If they're going to win any objective, this is theirs to take.
That's right, and Cube, you know, right as the momentum shifted one way, it gets shifted right back if Cube have a couple of big plays. They're going to be counting on the Ascendroxus, who was replacing the Buck, who was largely effective for them earlier on. That bigger health pool just gave him a little bit more wiggle room, and now Skullest needs to make things happen. He's got his ultimate, but he elected not to use it there. Not actually sure why, because that would have been a great time to force some kills. Definitely would have got a stolzey out, and now he takes down Nada. Bitey takes down Pingss, and Ruukia, the only one to find a kill in return onto Bitey.
Slapped out of the air by Wi-Fi with Skullest there, and as you said, not using King Bomb may be a decision which will come back to haunt them. Accursed armies in that fight as well. Maybe even, Heat Haze coming through from Shaolin, but we still have Dome Shield, Whirlwind, and King Bomb left to go for a point retake, and Cube Team did establish over 40% on the objective, but they've got to move fast now. 75% are rising for Eager. Can somebody close the gap? It's going to have to be Skullest here, but King Bomb isn't already charged.
He just didn't see stolzey, and stolzey was chasing Skullest down around, and that will be an objective captured there by Eager yet again. Skullest, without being able to use a King Bomb, he had it all round and not able to impact the fight, and that's just got to be a mistake. You can't go a whole round when it's 2-0 down, not using your ultimate there.
No, stolzey though is going to be polished. Ruukia coming out with a double kill there, looking to make a defense early, our Cube Team. And with their ultimates available, now would be the time to use them. Take some momentum away from Team Eager, get some credits, go for the mid-round buy if you do get eliminated, and charge those back up again for the next round. If we see that timer tick down under 1, maybe 50 seconds, it's a little bit too late for them.
And it's not like it's the end of the world necessarily. If they really do use those ultimates, they stabilize here. They got a lot of firepower to stabilize.
If it's a case of, well, we lose if we don't use the ultimates, then you've got to use the ultimates.
You got to.
Yeah.
And now they're defending, so they do lose if Eager are able to capture this. But if they defend it, they get themselves a point. It's 3-1. That means next fight, they're able to go at it and hopefully tie things up here. They could actually capture and push the next objective if they defend this and tie the game.
They'll have to give it their best shot, but the aggression coming out of Wi-Fi's Makoa half-shell utility paying off in dividends. Cassie going in, and Bitey just soars in double kill so far. Finds the triple kill. He's just a little bit too fast. The GTF, though, will find a double kill on cleanup. Looks to box out versus ShadeeyShades, but, well, there's one clear winner to that, and it's the good orange girl, the Hunter's daughter herself.
Do you think that really this is one of the answers for the Bomb King? I mean, was this what Josh wasn't wanting to tell us? You know, maybe it's not the Cassie, but it might just be the combination. The Lex, the Cassie, the Drogos, but the Wormjet Drogos. You saw Skullest having a hard time tracking Bitey in the air.
I think all of these in combination work well against Bomb King, but I don't think that they're necessarily picked up because they're specific Bomb King counters. Everybody's been sleeping on Cassie for a long time. Even past her buffs, we've been seeing people go, well, Charlene's been reliable, let's go with Charlene.
Yep.
This time around, maybe the Cassie has just been a sleeping giant, which we haven't seen come out to play, and that exaction bonus damage is going to be huge, but Dragon Punch is ready.
And he's going to make sure he's aware of Ruukia. He's going to try and find her out. Ruukia largely a huge factor on the Charlene earlier, but they're going to go into the Dome Shield, finish off Nada, who would have been the tank. Double kill again, stolzey with In Pursuit, takes down Skullest, doesn't get the King Bomb off. That is basically 2, maybe 3 points now that he will have that ultimate and not have been able to use it. The executed, and stolzey's going to be 5 in a row. Headshots coming through, just the normal basics, and that will do, Pig. That will be Bomb King finished off. That will be Eager taking the victory and moving on for the rematch against Kanga.
Ooh, that's going to be a spicy one. But this
stolzey
game
stares
itself,
at the camera.
Stolzey knows what he wants. He wants the audience, man. He wants their love and attention. He's a streamer, you know that's all they want.
That is true.
Yeah.
Dirty streamers.
Yeah, you're a streamer?
I'm a streamer. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult myself here. You know what? The truth is, he really does love and crave the audience. He craves the live action, but he craves success. He craves the hot place. He craves the attention. That Lex is what he's finally found some rhythm on lately in these high-level competitive games. This is proving to be a very good pick for him.
It certainly is. The consistency of his damage has been paying off massively in there. We do have some stats available for you. They should be coming up on the screen in just a moment as well. I'm interested to see how Bitey's damage compared around this time. Maybe to stolzey's, however, because stolzey was doing work on Lex, but Bitey, again, was just completely unmitigated.
Absolutely. And Bitey, here looking at his damage, he's got 53,000, which is top damage in the game by quite a bit. Only 2,000 above his compatriot, though, stolzey, who had quite a bit of credits, 2,700 credits in that game. 34 and 6 Lex, that'll do for you. And he just is rolling in the dough here.
Yeah, absolutely. The only other player who's rolling maybe quite as much as him was Skullest on Bomb King, just in King Bomb. 43,000 damage to their name, the highest on the side of Cube, but it just wasn't enough to keep the game going. Notably on damage, though, I'm noticing Pingss with a very low damage score on Grover. 4 and 9, but unable to get off the long line of sight damage, which we expect from Grover played in this environment. A lot of that comes to do, I think, with half-shell Makoa coming into play.
I mean, nobody really trusted a solo healing Grover, right? I mean, that's not something we see in North America and Europe being as viable. But it's cool to see Brazil bring new tactics and bring new things. The Grover-Grog combination from that region has been so exciting, right? It's been different. It's been something that I think is largely needed to insert into our meta and change things up and give people different ideas of how they can be performing.
And it's good because we see different champion combinations explored, and without people exploring these in a LAN environment, in a competitive setting, where they otherwise haven't had the opportunity to really test their mettle against the best teams in the world, we never know quite how they're going to perform.
Absolutely. And let's take a look at the bracket today and see how everything is turned out. I know it's been a long day for all of you, but we're excited to get into the final match, and that is going to be Kanga Esports versus Team Eager. What an exciting thing to see the teams that faced off in Group 2, which was actually a 3-1 fight one more time. All the strategies exposed, or have they been?
It's the beauty of double elimination. But with what Josh Kent was saying earlier, I feel like there are a lot more strategies up Kanga Esports' sleeve. Team Eager, on the other hand as well, have they shown all their cards recently? They've been going into this Wormjet Strogos. That's certainly something which has been revealed. Maybe a possible counter to the Bomb King, Cassie as well, as you remarked. But at the same time, what else have they got left in the bag?
You know what I love it? Here's what I love about this. They're not taking the Shaolin anymore. They're taking the Makoa Drogos. And, you know, people said Makoa Shaolin's the answer. If someone picks Bomb King, you get Makoa Drogos every time. Every game, if you're second pick, you get Makoa Drogos. And that means if you were relying on Shaolin, you may not have got it. But ShadeeyShades made the shift to Cassie. Cassie. So they're going to guarantee getting, essentially, Cassie, Drogos, and Makoa, which they feel right now, I think, is the answer to dealing with the Bomb King. And, of course, if stolzey can get his Lex, bread and butter right there, it's going to be an exciting match, Fox. Who do you think is going to take the edge?
Oh, who do I think? That's a little bit of a daring one. The edge, I think, is going to come down to whoever picks Grover because their Axe has an edge, but they're going to fall off a little bit as games go. There he is. Speaking of falling off, it's going to be Evan heading off, everybody, and this has been...
I'm kidding. Vox
no,
with
he's
the
back
puns
here.
there.
Yeah, no, we'll get you off cast one day. I'm going to pun you out of this room.
Me and Vox, man. I miss casting with you, buddy. It's great to do it out here, guys. We got one more game coming up. We're going to hit the... Hey, you're not on this next one, right?
No, I'm not on this next one.
It's going to be 2 new casters for you. It's going to be an exciting game.
Brand new.
I'm going to go get my popcorn. I'm going to watch this one. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be in the
crowd.
crowd.
Right back. Kanga versus Eager.